What's going on, everyone? This is Zach with StrictlyShisha, and I have the distinct pleasure of doing a very special review today. And this is a hookah review of a Kaya Shisha hookah, and this is a German hookah brand that is not found very often in the US, so I'm very excited to do this review. And the model I'm doing a review on today is the INOX series. This is a 630 CE TGS Black, and that thing is just referring to the black bulbs here. As you can see, this very unique hookah has a classic integration of stainless with glass, and it is super pretty, and I am just so in love with this hookah. I mean, I'm just like hesitant to even do this review because I'm just enjoying this session, and it is so good. So let's go into the in-depth portion right now so you guys can kind of see a little more details about this hookah and what's very special about it. So let's get into the up-close portion of this video, and we will start with the bottom because bottoms up is a real saying. So some people don't put as much emphasis on the base because most bases with hookahs are interchangeable. But with this hookah, it is not. You are stuck using this base or a similar Kaya base, and I'll show you why later in the video. Let's start with the bottom. So the base is designed very well, and it's kind of a pyramid shape. The bottom is perfectly level, has a great weight to it. I mean, this thing feels solid. And as you can see here, it's got a cool design. I always like the see-through bases so you can see exactly how much water is in there. The diameter of the bottom of the base is a little over 6.5 inches, so you got a nice sturdy base that looks great to set this beautiful hookah on. And just as a reference point, you can kind of see the peak of this triangle here. I kind of fill my water level about right there, and it ends up being right about an inch above the downstem. So let's move on to the downstem actually. So the downstem is a little over 10 inches. This is a threaded downstem, so you will actually screw this directly into the heart of the hookah. And man, this thing is pretty thick, pretty good quality. I wouldn't worry about bending this anytime soon. And I'll show you guys here. Pretty thick walls. One of the most unique features about this hookah is the actual gauge of the downstem. This is literally the largest gauge for downstem that I've ever seen. Even in comparison to some of the BR hookahs, this thing is gigantic. Right now, I'll do an overlay comparing this to my Regal. And I mean, it puts the Regal to shame. This thing colossal compared to the Regal. I'm going to show you guys in reference to the tape measure. This thing is roughly 3/4 of an inch in diameter, which is larger than most of your standard hookahs. And even in reference to my pinky right here, as you can see here, my pinky fits all the way down with plenty of room to spare. So this is an up close of the heart of the hookah, and this area is usually referred to as the heart of the hookah because you kind of have the most going on in this area, as well as a lot of air going in and out in different directions. We'll show you guys the up close. You have two identical hose ports, two identical purge ports. All four of these valves are equipped with auto seal valves, meaning that there are ball bearings. That also means that when person A is smoking, person B doesn't have to hold their hose, which is really annoying amongst multi-hose hookahs. That's kind of why they have a kind of a bad stigma, but this design makes it seem like you are smoking out of a single hose hookah, and each person gets to enjoy evenly. What that means though is when one person is smoking and this hose port is not in use, I take out the ball bearing in this one so that I can purge it easily, and actually all three of these valves act as purge ports, which is super cool. This is the only hookah I've seen technically with 3 purge ports. Very nice. The weight on this thing is super heavy and very, very well constructed. All of these pieces are machined to perfection. There is no squeaking. I mean, it just, look at this, one finger and I can turn it. I don't have to worry about cross-threading. I mean, this is just, a lot of attention to detail when they made this. And not only is everything perfectly machine honed, there's a O-ring on each individual valve so that it ensures that it is air sealed. As you can see here, it comes standard with plastic BBs, which is always a nice touch, and they are slightly larger than your standard plastic BBs. As I mentioned earlier, this hookah does have a screw-in downstem, so I'm showing you guys that right now. This actually screws in. I typically don't like screw-in downstems, but with this, I'm actually not worried about it. With other hookahs, I worry about them actually getting stuck and never coming out, but because this is so nicely machine-honed, I'm not really worried about that. This technically does have a common chamber, and common chamber just means that there are no dedicated ports that are sealed off here for your purge and your hose port. The benefit of a traditional chamber when you have dedicated ports is that it's easier to purge and you just get a little better airflow. But because there are multiple purges on this hookah, I'm not really worried about that fact. And that does prove true when you're actually practically purging it. And I also mentioned earlier that you are kind of stuck with this base or a similar Kaya base because as you can see here, there are little nubs and ridges, and this actually does screw on here. It's not a actual threaded base, but it kind of locks into place. All of these joints are equipped with an O-ring, and that is also true for the inside of this heart. It actually has an O-ring to seal it onto this base. So what I do is I just line up the Kaya logo with the first nub, and it fits on as so, and I kind of just screw it to the right, and you'll feel it sealing. I mean, it's on there pretty tight, and as you can see, you can hold it, screw it, like I'll hold it over my glass, I'm not really worried. And it fits on there very nicely. So this is a threaded base technically. So we're down to the last two pieces of this hookah, but I want to point out something real quick. The top part of the heart of this hookah actually has a smaller diameter than the downstem, meaning there is a little bit of restriction coming from this piece right here, but that's not necessarily a bad thing with a downstem that big. A little bit of restriction is probably going to add to it, which is good. And this hookah has a flawless integration of stainless and glass, and as you can see with this ground glass fitting here, fits very nicely. No rubber or grommets needed at all. Same with the actual tray. The tray fits perfectly into this piece and just looks beautiful. As you guys can see here, the Kaya logo. And this tray is actually a productive tray. It's not just for looks. It's nice and deep and nice and wide to catch coals. And you guys know I will need this because I do drop coals everywhere. So I really like this tray, and it actually functions. I want you guys just to keep this in mind because you guys do have a glass bowl port. Definitely be careful when you are putting your bowls on here. Make sure you guys have good thick grommets on here, and the inside of the clay bowls are not really putting a lot of pressure on the glass here and chipping it. Or if you're putting on there nice and snug, you don't push too hard and kind of just crack all the glass all the way down. That would be a bad day. So as you saw in the in-depth portion, there are a lot of unique features about this hookah that are very different from a lot of hookahs we see on the market today. Let's get into the setup. So obviously I'm smoking out of the INOX hookah, which you guys can see here. I have the OG Symphony Bowl loaded up with my last bit of PX1 Hardcore Mint. If you guys seen my review on this mint, I love this mint too. It's a German tobacco, and since this is a German hookah, I decided to save my last bit of PX1 tobacco for the review. I'm smoking out of a Kaya Shisha hose that came with another Kaya Shisha that I will do a review on. This is a glass tip hose with silicone tubing. And the one thing about this hookah is, as you guys saw in the in-depth, the downstem is gigantic. I mean, like I said, I could stick my whole pinky in there with a little bit of wiggle room. So you definitely want to pair this with a hose with restriction if you like a little bit of restriction. I don't like that completely open draw with zero restriction. It ends up making it a little more difficult for me to inhale. I like a little bit of restriction to give me a little bit of resistance, so I feel like I'm pulling on something. So I tested out a lot of different hoses with this. For me, the Thunder hose was a little too open still. I did smoke this with the Lulava hose, and it was just a little too restricted, but even a restricted hose like that still was very open. But I thought the perfect match was the hose that actually came with a different Kaya hookah. So I mean, this draw is perfect, and I am just blowing the fattest clouds. I'll show you guys some clouds right now. But I mean, everything about this hookah, I mean, I love. We'll start with the bottom and kind of recap some things I said in the in-depth. The glass on this is just very high quality, very heavy. As you can see here, it's got a cool design to it, and actually the design kind of helps me figure out where I want to fill the water level up to. Into the heart, I mean, it clicks into the base, so you're able to pick up the whole hookah and not worrying about it slip out or finding the perfect grommet. I mean, it's the perfect fit and a perfect seal. You have the heart here with, you have two hose ports. So if you have a friend who you like to smoke with and you like to share your hookah, which no one likes to share, we all know that, you do have the ability to have a two hose system with auto seal ports. So you don't have to worry about having to hold this like you see in the old school, like people with the weird habits of just holding it now, because I think they're so used to multi-hose hookahs. I smoke with newbies and they're always like holding this. I'm like, what are you doing? That doesn't really do anything. So this does have the auto seal valve, so you don't have to worry about it. But I have removed one of the purge balls so that I may purge out, as you can see here. And this, I mean, this glass integration here with the grounded glass, I mean, it's just very, very cool and very stylish. I mean, this is just a very unique and modern and just wonderful hookah. The tray is functional, I mean, catches my coals. Everything about this hookah is perfect. The draw is super wide open, so you can add restriction to your liking, whether you like the wide open, you like a little bit of restriction. I mean, it just performs outstandingly. And you can tell by the quality of the joints, by the machining, that this is a hookah that is going to last you the test of time. Now, they have a lot of other models in their series, and you can check out their website, and I'll put all their information below. But for us US, I guess, viewers, you definitely want to use Google Translate or something so you guys can kind of understand what they're saying. Because even for me, it's hard for me to kind of figure out some details about this hookah. But yeah, they offer a lot of different models, and some of them are all just stainless, some of them have this glass integration, and it's just really nice. I think, and I'm not sure of this, I don't have the exact details, I believe this piece right here is interchangeable, and you can screw a solid stainless stem into this. But the glass is really nice, super high quality glass. I'm not really worried about it breaking. But I mean, this is a hookah. You want to take care of your hookah. I mean, whether it's glass or it's made of stainless, the bottoms are always glass. So you want to take care of this hookah, and I always baby my hookah, so I'm not worried about it breaking or whatever, and it will stand the test of time. I mean, this is just a beautiful product, and most of the products coming out of the German market these days are top quality and very innovative. So I'm so excited to see that we are getting these products overseas now, and they're just, I mean, everything about these things just scream quality, they scream performance. It's an all-in-one package. Design. This is something that will turn heads. It will perform well. I mean, it's something you keep on a shelf and show people. So I don't have anything bad to really say about this hookah. Like I said, it's very unique because you have technically 3 purges in this, and I'll show you guys me actually purging right now. Alright, so the chamber is full, so I'll show you guys the purge. So it's pretty much empty, and that was less than 1 breath. You are using 3 purge valves. So I know some of the old school KNs accidentally had 2 purges, and I know some of the new Starbuzz Egyptian models have 2 purges. This is 3 purges. The most effortless purge I've ever felt. It's really nice to use, and it just performs. So some people might be concerned that this is a common chamber, meaning there are no dedicated hose port and purge port built into the heart. But because there are 3 purge ports, the purge is effortless, the draw is really nice and open, and you'd think that with such an open down stem you get this like loud rumbling. It's actually a very smooth draw, and the sound is dampened by the thickness of the glass. So I mean, everything about this is just wonderful. Let's talk about the flavor though. PX1 tobacco. I did a review on this and most of you guys probably saw that. But just to do a recap of this, everything I said in that video, I stick by this. This is a amazing smoke. The flavor strength on this is definitely 10 out of 10. It is a super strong cold spearmint. Even after the review and I was smoking outside, I carried this all the way back to the apartment, put on another round of coals, and I got another hour out of this. So the flavor will definitely last you 2 or 3 rounds of coals. And I just can't wait to get my hands on more PX1 to try out for you guys. So if you are in the market for a new hookah, Shisha is definitely the brand to check out. If you are someone who has a vast collection, this is a necessity in your collection. Or if you are someone who's looking for an everyday hookah, I would actually suggest this too. I know some hookahs that I have are just something I kind of put on the shelf or I smoke on a rare occasion, and there's some hookahs that I call my everyday beaters that I smoke often because they are such high quality and I'm not worried about them actually getting messed up. This is a hookah that can be a collector's piece or an everyday smoke. And the beauty about Shisha is they are available directly from their German website, or you can pick them up on Amazon. So definitely put their information below so you guys can check out the Amazon link. And I do believe these ship from the United States, so you can get an authentic German product here in the United States, and you don't have to worry about shipping it all the way from Germany. But just to summarize, I mean, everything I just said, quality, great draw, just amazing. And I know some of the old school reviewers like Hookah Rev got a Shisha hookah a long time ago, and it wasn't up to the same quality as they are now. I know they've revamped their line, they've just put a lot more attention to detail in here, and all their efforts have really shown. So if you have any questions about this hookah or any other Shisha product, feel free to email me at StrictlyShisha.com, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. But thank you guys as always for watching. I really appreciate you guys doing this. You know, as most of you know, I take a lot of time out of my day to put these videos out for you guys, and it means a lot to me when you guys watch them and subscribe and comment and be interactive with me. So stay tuned for the review of the other Shisha hookah, and always more reviews to come. Take care guys, bye.